Eggers, this is RedX, back with another RedX review of epic proportions, and today we're taking a look at the final piece of the wave of the gimmicky line of Sonic Boom toys, that being the Ripcord launchers. This is Dr. Eggman with his Ripcord EGGMOBILE, and may I say, before I actually get into this review, props to Tomy for stepping their game up. For once, and probably the only time, we have a Dr. Eggman figure that finally comes with that one thing that he should always come with, but never did. Jazzwares couldn't do it. Resource couldn't do it. Toy Island couldn't do it. Need I say any more? At long last, we have an Eggmobile for an Eggman figure. I'm blown away. You know what? I could just end the review right here on this high note. I don't know what this figure is all about. I haven't gotten to him. As you can see, he's still mint in package at this moment. But I could just say, just because of this alone, this is worth getting. Because you don't really have to use this for this Eggman. I'm sure you could probably use it for the Jazzwares one. But, you know, I'd be cutting corners if I was to end the review like this. So, here we are. Here it is. Let's get to it at long last. So, what can I say about the packaging? Not a thing. Really, it's just the generic packaging of every zipline Ripcord launching figure of this series. That's all I can say. The only difference is, instead of it being Sonic with his wheel launching gimmick, or Knuckles with his Ripcord board, this is Dr. Eggman. That's it. It even says Dr. Eggman. But I will say this, I don't think I actually noticed this the first time and never mentioned this actually on any review of these Ripcord figures. See this right here? This is something that not even Cartoon Network is actually doing. Promoting. Check that out. It's actually promoting the video game and the TV series. You see that, Cartoon Network? You don't have to get so creative. You could actually just throw it up. That's it. Just like that. There. Go watch Sonic Boom, the TV series. Or go play Sonic Boom, the video game. That's all they have to do. Not a single promotion from that company. You know what? That's a rant for another day, and I guarantee you that is coming up. I'll have my say about Sonic Boom, the TV series on Cartoon Network thus far. So, anyway, enough about that. Let's take a look at the back of the packaging for this. As you can see, it's the same as Knuckles and Sonic's. Nothing really different. It's just showing the Asian kid Ripcord launching Eggman off of some gray table. That's it. You have your set of figures here, and this is the whole entire wave, might I add. So, that being said, nothing else to talk about. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy open and see what this Eggmobile is all about. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. How's the figure? We'll find out. Stick around. Alright, and here's Dr. Eggman out of his package in all his glory. And I gotta say, his outfit reminds me so much of something that a soldier would have worn during the Civil War. It's just that cool looking. It just can't get any better than that. I will say that I still prefer the original game design. Oh, okay, you know, the design that's been used since Sonic Adventure. But really, this is a step in a nice direction. I really do enjoy this style of Dr. Eggman's outfit. It's pretty cool. Oh, by the way, in case you didn't notice, there's your size comparison. As you can see, while the Tomy figure might be a lot better, and I'll get into reasons why, the fact is that Jazzwares figures are still taller than the Tomy figures. I mean, you've seen that with the Sonic comparison, and Amy, and except Knuckles. I mean, Knuckles is towering over the original Knuckles that Jazzwares produced, but that's just because of the scale of what he really is in the show. But I digress. This Eggman is still incredible. Sure, he doesn't have as much articulation as the Jazzwares one, but there is a flaw with the Jazzwares figure. If you haven't noticed, I'll bring him back up. As you can see, he's got that syndrome that the DC Multiverse Christopher Reeve Superman figure has. He can't put his arms down all the way, just because of the sculpting. Well, Tomy has figured out how to prevent that from happening. As you can see, his arms are down all the way, and if I'm not mistaken, I can even get them closer in. That is cool. That is nice. I love this ball and socket joint that they have with these Sonic Boom figures, because I can get more position out of their shoulders than I could with the Jazzwares figures. Now, I'm not saying the Jazzwares is just flat out ridiculous, and I'm not trying to say that Tomy is 100% perfect, because granted they're not. I've had my problems with their Sonic Boom figures, you already know because you've seen my reviews. If not, go check them out. But I will say that Tomy is trying to learn, and I would love to see this line improve with a little bit more of articulation and a better paint job. Maybe we might actually get that if there is an actual Season 2 of Sonic Boom. Maybe then we'll see future waves with other characters that will be shown in the show eventually, and maybe we'll get better articulated and better paint job figures. I mean, why not? Dare I say, why not? So, what really makes this Eggman figure shine unlike the original Jazzwares one? Well, I will show you right here. Like I said, he doesn't have any elbows or knee joints. That's to be expected. That's pretty much the theme of the Sonic Boom line. However, there is one thing that this Eggman has that the Jazzwares one does not. And that's not just the Eggmobile, okay? I know somebody was going to say that. Wrong. This. As you can see, if I am not mistaken, this is the first ever Dr. Eggman figure that has a swivel head. He can actually look in other directions. Nice. Love it. And then there's your standard ball jointed arms, universal might I add. And then there's the basic up and down pivoting leg joints. And I think that's it, because I don't think there's actually a waist swivel. No, there's no waist swivel. Even though it looks like there might be one, there isn't. That would probably be the same thing with the wrists here. They look like they actually got cuts to where they could turn, but they don't. That's a bit of a shame, but you know what? It's Tomy, and that's, like I said, their theme of this line, so I'm not really bothered by it anymore. I gotta say, the paint job on him is pretty nice, even though he's got some sloppiness around his mustache, and it is kind of sticking out, kind of like Sonic's eyes on the Ripcord launching one. But other than that, it is very cool, very nice. I love the striping that goes down on his pants. That is nice. Tomy didn't have to do that, but they spared the no expense on the paint job. It is great. It's sloppy in some areas on some of their other figures, but I mean, they don't skip out on the attention to detail on any of these figures. They're almost 100% perfectly painted. Maybe not to the point where they're not bleeding through, but the paint job, where you think they should paint an area, it's painted. And I love it. I love it. So, let's just get Eggman out of the way real quickly. And for a quick size comparison, why not? Let's bring in Sonic, his arch nemesis. As you can see, he towers over his rival adversary, and I think that this is a perfect scale between one another from the show. Here's bring in Tails. Here's Amy. I'm going to have a hard time with this one, obviously. Sticks the Badger. No, she's standing just fine. And Knuckles the Echidna. Nice. I love the scale. Something Jazzwares could not perfect, Tomy has. This is just perfect. I love it. I really got no complaints about it. It's just awesome. And of course I'm missing one, ain't I? That's right. Because he also counts, even though he's no longer in the show, Burnbot or Clawbot. You know, because he didn't really burn at first. So yeah. Awesome. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Love this line. It is awesome. Everything about it is awesome. I really cannot complain about this figure. It's true. Like I did say before in one of my reviews, I will miss the articulated elbows and knee joints. But really, that's what was causing the flawness to the Jazzwares line. That was their undoing. And it's obvious by now that Jazzwares has no intentions on going back to do any more Sonic the Hedgehog figures. It just ain't gonna happen. So, there's that. Anyway, that's enough about the Eggman figure. let's go ahead and take a look at his next accessory. And here it is. The long-awaited Eggmobile. I don't know what else to say. This is amazing. It is a nice piece to hold in my hands. At long last, my Eggman, any of my Eggmans can have something to ride in at last. Except for the Resource one and Toy Island, because they're pretty much one and the same mold, and they tower over this thing like 6 inches. So, that's not going to work. But anyway, let's take a look at the detail. It's not much, unfortunately. Not what I would come to expect. I was expecting something like maybe Kenner, like a sticker right here for the control pads. I don't know what to say. This is asymmetrical, as you can see. One of the joysticks is taller than the other. I don't know why. I guess that's just the way it is. Nice working wheels, but that's due to the gimmick. You'll see why in just a minute. Everything is nicely painted, but I will say, though, there's a little bit of a cheat with these stripes right here. They're not painted. These are actually stickers. You can tell because there's a little bit of a peel right there, but it's not that bad. I mean, yeah, it's fine. But the attention to detail on this thing is nice. Everything about it is nice. Even the floor, it's got that grid pattern or whatever it is. I don't know what it's called. But it's that texture that's nice. And then there's this one peg where Eggman could actually peg in and stay in place, kinda, sorta, when you're ripping him across the floor. Everything on it is just great. And then there's just one little thing that kinda nitpicks about me on this thing. It's just this right here is a little bit off. As you can see, it's kind of out of place with this side. The left side is a little shorter. It's a little bit more down than the actual right side. But that's kind of like the stitching on my original TMNT Turtle Blimp. As you can see right here, as pictured, you can see that one side is lower than the other side, which just, it looks out of whack. But I guess that's just the way it is because of, you know, engineering or, you know, stitching. So, there's that. I did notice that this is tinted like a little bit of a yellow. I'm hoping that's the way it's supposed to be. I'm hoping that's not like an oxidation issue, you know, like aging already on this thing. I don't think so, because I'm not seeing any other yellow around this thing, so I guess only time will tell. Did I also mention that the inside of the Eggmobile actually had some engineering pieces? I mean, this is not just flat or a sticker. This is actually nicely sculpted on both sides, as you can see. Awesome. This is just great. And I love the actual intakes right here. Nicely detailed. And on the back, the exhausts are actually painted. Nice. Nice touch. This is cool. This is cool. And this actually has a lot of give. As you can see, I'm barely tapping this thing. And it's moving all over the place. This has like no restriction whatsoever. This is going to work nice with the Ripcord. So, speaking of which, here it is, the Ripcord. It's black, unlike being blue for Sonic or red for Knuckles. It's pretty much the same thing. As you can see right here, it still says Sonic Boom. And it's still got the bandage stitching on it, or whatever you want to call it, sculpting. So, there's not much to talk about that. So let's get to the final thing about this, the gimmick. Get it out of the way. But first, I want to make sure I get Eggman in this thing. And I gotta say, though, this is a little bit of a nitpick here. It does not really stand in this thing too well. How does that work? He's not going to stay in place, unfortunately. Once he rips across the floor, he's going to fall right off of this thing. It's going to be just like the Knuckles with the Ripcord board. He's not going to stay in place. And there's also another reason why that is. Because as you can see, even though he's got two joysticks on his control pad, one hand is turned to the side. It's a pointing hand, so he is not going to be able to grip that one. unfortunately. So that's going to hurt with stability as well. But for the most of it, as you can see, he's hanging in there. I have no idea how I'm exactly going to do this. I guess we're going to have to try and take this to the floor. Welcome back to my messy floor. I'm sorry about that, but I'm still moving some things around in here. Anyway, how you insert the ripcord is simple. It goes underneath right here, and you push it through like so. I had a little bit of trouble doing this at first. Hopefully he's not going to fall off this thing, but I really don't know how to grip this without touching the front wheel. So I'm going to try. Also, as you can see right here, the wheel, look at that, look at that. It moves right on contact with pulling the ripcord. That is nice. That's going to give it a lot of force. A lot of power is going to run through this thing. So here we go. Hear that? Yeah, this is not going to work on this carpet. Well, that's the way the egg cracks, right? That was horrible. Let's get back to the review section. So that's pretty much it for this review. The only thing that I can say, which I pretty much did say at the beginning, is this thing is worth it. Even if the gimmick is a bit flawed, but that's just my personal experience, considering that there's like no solid ground whatsoever in this room. I can't actually shoot this around anywhere else at the moment. So I'm not going to judge it by that. I'm going to judge it by what this figure has that no other Dr. Eggman figure has ever received. The Eggmobile. That's all. For that reason alone, I can say this set is worth it. The gimmick, I don't know. Something about it. I mean, sure, it's fun for a few minutes, but then after that it gets a little dull. But that's any gimmick. Overall, I am amazed. Tomy is doing a great job. Hopefully they will keep it up. Hopefully I'll be able to review more figures later on. Hopefully there will be more figures later on. Hopefully this is not the end of Tomy's run for Sonic Boom. I'm praying, I'm pleading that Tomy will do like a Series 2 or something, and we will see more figures, more vehicles, more villains. That would be nice. Especially if we could get that Destruct-Bot. That was hilarious. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I guess the next review to follow on the Sonic Boom side of things would be Orbot and Cubot. That's it. And then that really is it. There's nothing else to actually review from the Sonic Boom line except for the playset, which I still don't have. But I'm working up to it, okay? I'm working to get that thing. But in the meantime, I guess I'll just have to go back and review other things that I haven't done yet, or, you know, hopefully something else comes around soon enough. So, questions, comments about this, you know, leave them down below. And until the next RedX review of Epic Proportions, that's me, RedX, signing out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Got diecast right here. So, it's pretty much extra diecast onto this set, which the Megazord cannot support. Titanus comes with these clips. There's already one assembled right here, which I just knocked over in the Megazord. I really shouldn't have taken that off.